Hello guys, and welcome to the first Hearthstone Autumn Qualifier this year. You're here watching the semifinals. My name is The Odd One, and here with me is Ronix, and we're gonna be your casters for today. So today, for the semifinals, we have Asterix on the top and Ozg on the bottom side. Ozg with Warrior, Rogue, and Priest, where his Priest got banned, and Asterix with Druid, Shaman, and Hunter, where his Druid got banned. So we have our first game for today. We have Warrior versus Hunter.
Yeah, and hello everyone. We can see that Ozg is playing a version of Quest Warrior, while the Asterix is going for some type of mid-range hunter. We are not sure yet which type it is because the lists are not public. Yep. So we only have info that we saw on their hands.
And a nice greeting for the start of the game. Also, what we can see from this game here, Warrior seems to have a kind of an awkward curve. He has a turn 1 where he has the quest, but so far we don't see anything to play turn 2. While Hunter pretty much seems to have a really good curve, and yeah, from what we can see is well, Hunter used to be really good versus Quest Warrior, but so far what we've seen in the last like 2 expansions, we've seen Warrior being quite good versus Hunter as well, especially because of the addition of the Primordial Drake, which can be really good in the mid game and stopping the Hunter aggression very efficiently. I think what actually hurt Warrior a lot is the fact that Fiery War Axe now costs 3. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely, and I'm not sure that he's even running a copy of it in his deck.
Yeah, I think maybe, like, the lists aren't public, but so far he has things to play. He can even go for like a 4-drop from the Stonehill Defender. I think Bloodhoof Brave here will be a perfect choice. But Hunter seems to have a really good curve to kind of continue on with whatever Hunters are doing versus Warriors.
That's true, and sometimes the Warriors tend to not keep the quest versus Hunter. That's kind of a personal preference.
Yeah, I think so.
I was trying to play one way and another and still didn't come up with like a solid decision which way is the better. And we see that Ozg thinks that keeping quest is a better thing versus Hunter.
Well, I personally agree with that. I wouldn't agree with that in the last expansion, where you had the situation that quest doesn't really help you with the whole kind of winning versus Hunter. But now, since the Deathstalker Rexar has been added to the game, sometimes you actually need that quest to be able to deal with Hunter's mid to late game, because Hunter has a potential to turn from a very aggressive kind of and mid-range deck to a control-ish style deck, where you will have, well, it's not a control deck in a way that it has control element. It's just very demanding, kind of like Draxus. Like the way Warlock had a 6/6 every turn, now Hunter can have a different sort of threat every turn, and it is very demanding to kind of go against it. So sometimes Warrior will need that 8 damage to a random minion to deal with the board.
Definitely.
So here I agree with keeping the quest.
And so far we see a strong tempo from Asterix, and also some tools to remove it from Ozg.
Yeah. I think so far, I'm not sure if I agree with this turn. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, actually, like, he could have even, like, gone face and then used the whirlwind effect to clear the board. But it was his personal preference to actually attack there, since Hunter really has a potential to maximize his usage of beasts on the board, which is good.
True, and we see a crab pulled from the top, which is not that useful in this matchup, and not the card you will hope for to see in a kind of game to entering slowly into last game, you need strong cards like Savannah High Main or Death Seeker or something like that. So definitely a weak top deck from Asterix here.
But here we can see the power of the new warrior weapon, where except for like the card draw, you also get a potential to have some armor as well.
Yeah.
So those two in a whirlwind combination are actually really good. But let's see how it kind of plays out versus a hunter.
It's really scary because warrior is getting dangerously low on health, but he has a way to kind of heal up for now, at least. Not heal up, but armor up, which in the end makes
it's kind of the same thing, yeah. I mean, so far he looks very well protected, even with that awkward curve that he had at the beginning of the game. Here he seems to be really well walled up. He has Primordial Drake, Curator to follow up, and it seems that Hunter is gonna have a hard time going through those taunts, especially since the Armorsmith actually gains him armor as well. So even with the Thunder Rhino that gives the beast charge, I'm not really sure how he's gonna get through that.
He'll get at least 2 or 4 armor with that Ally Armorsmith, and sometimes that's enough to stabilize. And once you stabilize, you can do your quest, you can start snowballing, you can start putting big threats on board, and usually that's the way how the warrior wins. Although Hunter can always top deck some crazy burst cards, as long as he keeps the warrior on low health.
Yeah, Asterisk here seems pretty teched versus Pirate Warrior and Murloc Paladin, and so far we don't have the information that he runs any, that Ozg runs any Murlocs or Paladins. So far his techs were kind of unadapted to this matchup, especially what I think is interesting is the Serenite. It's a really solid 4-drop. It's kind of like Feral Spirit in the Shaman,
but without overload.
Yeah, and I think a bit better, and I think it really fits the warrior curve. Actually, I haven't really seen that card being played as much. So now I think it might be pretty useful because hunters sometimes can deal with one taunt when they play a deadly shot, even though we don't know if Asterix plays it. But in this meta, deadly shot has been really common. So yeah,
we frequently see even 2 copies of it. It's not extraordinary rare or something like that, and it was in the previous metas. It was a card that you rarely see, and you always get surprised, like, oh, this one is playing that. I didn't expect that, and stuff like that happened. And today it's just a common to see your opponent plays it.
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes the decks will even run 2 of the deadly shots, and that is something that became kind of necessary. So as I was saying, yeah, sometimes a big threat can be removed by deadly shot, but when you have 2 taunts and it is really important to protect your face, sometimes Serenites can play a big role. And as we can see here, Hunter kind of running out of steam since a really awkward, I guess, mid game. And here we're just gonna see Taunt Warrior really kind of taunting up and just making sure that
we
that
see
Hunter,
that the kill command is being picked up,
yeah.
And the Ozg might choose not to go for his quest, which is 5 out of 7, but to keep the hero power that gives him 2 armor every turn and just try to win the game on the board with the stronger minions, because those minions, those taunts are strong, and if given time, they're stronger than Hunter's minions in the late game.
Yeah, it's pretty possible. And as we can see from Asterix, Deadly Shot being pulled, definitely a card that is useful, but definitely also a card that gets countered by the Serenite. So actually, Warrior doing pretty well there. Well, he kind of isolates.
RNG roll.
Yeah.
And
well,
he gets it.
He gets it, yeah, but we still have some really nice taunts in Ozg's hand. So he might just go for removing all the beasts, because what he definitely doesn't want is, for example, Savannah Hyman getting a charge. So true. I'm pretty sure he's just gonna go for taunts.
Well,
like
probably armor
up is better. But Dark Reaper will really kind of fit the curve. And make sure that if he pulls out another deadly shot and plays it and hits the taunt, he still has another one.
And an excellent pickup from the top. The Hydra.
Yeah, kind of late, but still really good. And we are yet to see if it if it turns out to be good for the Hunter. But the problem is hunters don't have any heal except for the Deathstalker.
Directly from the top, execute for Oz.
From the top and using the opportunity to deal a lot of phase damage through the Hydra.
Yeah, the Hydras are clumsy beasts. They can they can kill you if you're not careful.
Yeah, they can. So leaving him on a very low amount of health, only 6 health. So Asterix here is dead to the board if he doesn't lethal. And from what we see now, it's gonna be a GG for Oz.
Yeah, well played.
Well played.
Game
GG.
number 1.
Game number 1. It's 1-0 for Oz with his Quest Warrior.
So the remaining decks for Osk are
is Rogue.
Rogue, yeah. He needs to find a win with Rogue.
Yeah.
And Asterix needs to find a win with Shaman or Hunter.
Yeah, so, I mean, versus Rogue, Rogue has kind of changed throughout the expansion. Rogue really moved on in the past 2 expansions from the Quest Rogue to the kind of Miracle Rogue, and then Miracle Rogue with the Giants, with the DK, and now what we mostly see played is the Prince Rogue, where a Prince pretty much buffs your whole deck if you're lucky enough to draw it on turn 2, especially with the Shadow Step that can really turn the game around.
Yeah.
And as we can see, I would say this is the kind of type with the Prince Rogue.
Yeah, Prince Kelsa. That gives, for those of you who might not know, when he's played, if you don't have any other 2 drops, 2 cost cards in your deck, it gives every minion that you have in your deck +1/+1, and combined with the Shadow Step, you can multiply that effect and do it like 2 or 3 times, and then you have deck full of +3/+3 minions on their basic value. So that's how they tend to overpower and overrun their opponents in like mid to early late game.
Yeah, as we can see, Asterix here with an Evolved Shaman, and I would say so far it's a classic edition of the Evolved Shaman. Rogue sometimes can struggle a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of the, actually considered one of the counters towards Rogue, and he knows that since that is his last remaining deck, he will play Rogue, and he wants to find that win with Shaman and tie up the series.
Yeah. I mean, Rogue can potentially deal with it if Shaman doesn't go with the Crazy Evolve, and Rogue goes with their Captains, with their Bone Mares, with their Leroy's Shadow Step, and all the rest of the stuff that they have. But sometimes Shaman will just have that big board, and Rogue will just not be able to deal with it.
And the ability to refill the board again and again after his board being removed. Also, we see a Thrall in hand, and also we see Doppelgangster in hand, which is really strong combined with Evolve, but we don't see any copies of Evolve just yet.
Also, I think it's important to mention that so far, well, I'm pretty sure that this Rogue deck, doesn't run any Vanishes or Fan of Knives. This current version of Tempo Rogue that at least gets played on ladder, unless the Fan of Knives is tagged.
Definitely agree.
Yeah, will not be able to deal with the 2/2s, even if they get played on turn 5, but we're yet to see that, since Rogue has a potential to build a massive board and just easily get a win with it. But so far, it looks...
turn for him.
Yeah. Also, a very interesting addition is the Lightning Storm that we haven't been able to see in many Evolved Shaman decks. What do you think about it?
It's a bit controlish version. We might see some Jades even with it. Like Aya, Jade Claws, Jade Lightning. We saw 1 copy of Jade Lightning already, but it's like included in every other deck. But we might even see...
what do you think about Chieftains, maybe?
Chieftains also, yes. Sometimes 1 copy. I never saw deck with 2 copies. But he might be tagged for some special matchups, so nothing is nothing can be not expected.
Yeah. From what we saw in the last game, he was attacking versus Pirates and versus Murlocs, so I'm assuming he's running a lineup that kind of goes well with that, so we might even see some techs, but this is a pretty good tech versus both Murlocs and Pirates. Lightning Storm can really deal with it, so we see a kind of anti-aggro, semi-mid-range lineup from Asterix.
That is true, and now he gets to choose weapon.
Yeah, which is pretty nice. It really nicely deals with the board. And also, Shadowcaster is a card that we don't see in many of the Tempo Rogues, but now it's become a really common addition.
Yeah. And also we see Osk, I think, trying to close up the game as soon as possible. He's pushing for damage.
Yeah.
Or at least he's thinking about it.
Do you think there's a chance Asterix runs the pirate techs in this deck as well?
There might be a chance, but it's not likely. I don't think it's likely. Also, we see that overload on the rogue, which can sometimes screw the curve of rogue.
Yeah, because now there is no coin into bone marrow on turn 6.
Yeah.
So now with that overload, if he wants to play minion, so far he's gonna have to go with that Shadowcaster.
True.
We see Shaman kind of getting back on the board.
Yeah, and it's important to clear the board from rogue before turn 7 and not let him that bone marrow land on some minion, because that's like instant 4 +4/+4, and it's like effects is like similar like charge, because you can instantly attack with it. So and that's what Asterix is trying to prevent here, but let's see, rogue has ways to make a board.
Yeah, rogues do it. What do you think about the turn? Maybe like Edwin into Shadow step into Edwin again? He seems to be thinking about it.
He needs a lot of.
Yeah, he seems to want to kind of go patiently and just build the board slowly, which is something I agree with. Here it kind of looks like a good turn, but as we know, Shamans tend to run Devolve, and one Devolve on Edwin will most likely be a GG if he empties his whole hand.
Yeah, and also Shamans are just waiting for that one chance, like he gave them now, to get back to the board, and rogues are finding hard to deal with like 4 minions or something like that, for example, as we saw now.
Yeah.
And those are like not only small minions, we have 7/5 on board presented, everything has more than 1 health, and it's not easy to deal with it.
Yeah, and so far no trace of Fan of Knives, and I wouldn't say he's running one.
Yeah, I don't think he's running any, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, so far it
might try to take out this Flame Tongue
Flame Tongue, yeah, Flame Tongue kind of looks like the minion you want to get rid of.
Spell power.
Oh, well, it makes sense because it deals damage like through both spells and actual damage with the Bloodlust potentially. Maybe he's calculating like how many minions he actually needs to have in order not to die to Bloodlust.
It's true.
I mean, this way he kind of got back on the board with a 4/4 and a 3/3, which are solid minions. And if Shaman actually trades into them, there might be some trades available. But I think the Shaman will have some other plans.
Yeah, but if Shaman ignores this board, then the Bone Mare can land, and he can also play SI Agent with Battlecry, like combo.
Yeah.
Battlecry, and deal 2 additional damage plus 4 charge damage. So in my opinion, it's good to clear this board, because he's already ahead and he can clear the board and build up to that advantage step by step until he gets enough minions to Bloodlust and finish the game.
Do you think it may be too much damage for Rogue to handle if he just goes face? If he just goes Flame Tongue and just Lala, I'm just gonna go face here.
It might be too much, but we see that he has Bone Mare and he has ways to deal with them.
It's a very interesting positioning.
And I like this play.
Oh right, he's gonna.
I like this play because he's investing in future turns. Every next turn will be like tempo of its own. He also can get some charge minions.
Yeah, and the 9/1 is pretty vulnerable for the face damage. And wow, those are some really good evolves.
Yeah, that +8 health. I don't think the rogue can handle.
I think that's an instant GG.
29 health. Sorry, I thought he was 26. And he's tying up the series 1-1.
So our final game is going to be Rogue versus the Hunter that Asterix is still gonna try to get a win with.
Yeah, and he's heavily tacked with crabs.
Yeah.
So he might have an edge there.
So basically we have both players having their remaining classes that they still haven't gotten a win with fighting against each other, which will be quite interesting. I think it's a really tight series. Both players are performing really well today, and it's turning into a really, really nice series. So here we see the remaining minions that we weren't able to see in the last game. Also an addition of Hallucination that sometimes doesn't really get played in that tempo rogue.
That's
Sometimes,
true.
yeah.
They tend to include more one-drop minions because they synergize better with the Caliset effect, but Hallucination can give you answers that your opponents cannot predict at the moment, and that can really score you a win, or at least a huge advantage in the game.
Yeah. Firefly is really good, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna go for a stable one-drop.
Maybe even double it.
Maybe. I'm thinking maybe he even wants to save the coin, maybe coin out the Serenite. I see that he really likes the Serenite. He's running it in both Rogue and the Quest Warrior. So, I mean, it is a good minion for this meta.
He values the taunts.
Yeah, he does. Also, I'm wondering, have we seen the Swashbucklers in the last Rogue game?
No, I don't recall seeing them.
He might be running Hallucination instead of Swashbucklers.
That is also true.
Actually, can't recall it, but it might be true. It's kind of like reducing the amount of pirates that he has in deck, maybe considering that people are kind of attacking against it.
Yeah, it's really bad when you play pirate on turn 1 and then Hunter opens with coin crab on it, because that clears your board and buffs his minion, and it's kind of a struggle to control the board, and by that you're throwing up control completely to your opponent, which sometimes can even wrap up the game.
And here, Shaky Zip Gunner has a really cool death rattle, but I'm not sure if leaving your face open to the Hunter is the best idea here. He's gonna get a lot of damage to the face, especially with that Bear Shark that is just a nightmare for Rogue, just like it is for the Priest, for example, because there is no interaction possible. But this is a really nice death
hit.
rattle, yeah, because now he's gonna get 2, 4, 5 minions. Wow, that synergy worked out really well.
And he might even
consider taking one back, but he's not gonna get buffs. He's just gonna be a 2/3. But still, there's gonna be another 2/3, and then another 2/3 added to that. So it might be good, but I think so far his board state really challenges the Hunter. We see the Houndmaster in hand. We see Unleash the Hounds that don't really get much value here. I don't know, maybe he just ends up like trading both the 6/5 and the Bear Shark and a 1/3, and just leaving the possibility for some face damage next turn. Here, actually, we see an interesting situation where the Rogue is actually able to remove the Bear Shark without hitting it with the face. So with the top deck of Vilespin, he can actually play the Pirate and then coin out the Vilespin Slayer. But it's a pirate, and it's gonna be punished by the crab in hand if he decides to play it.
Coin can do the trick with.
Yeah, he might not even end up playing the South Sea deck, and maybe he assumes. Well, he knows that Hunters run the crab, so maybe he decides not to play around it. And even shadow stepping the Houndmaster would mean that he's kind of leaving his face opening again. Like to the Hunter.
The wild
yeah,
spin.
yeah, the wild spin. I mean, he's basically saying like, okay, I'm not gonna play the pirate. I'm gonna play around the crab, and I'm going to get that 4 damage to the face. But oh, Hydra is a really nice pickup here. Wow, he's actually not ending up going for it.
Goes
Yeah,
with more minions and investing in that hero power because he recognizes that his hand is not that rich and it's not equipped to go like long-term battle.
yeah, but he could have also played the Hydra for 5 mana.
Yeah, he could have, but he decides to like utilize that hero power, I guess.
Yeah. And Vile Spin is actually pretty good, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a trade here with both of the
both
minions.
pirates.
Yeah, to just get rid of them and just get kind of usage of them, and not get into the situation where a crab is played and he gets punished. Versus a hunter, sometimes you have to go for plays that are a bit suboptimal on first sight, because sometimes spending 2 minions on a trade instead of 1 will be considered a mistake, but here it's actually pretty good. And we see a Bone Mare in hand, which deals with Savannah Hymen really well when there's a minion on board.
It's true, and he won't miss a chance to hit.
Maybe he decides to play around Deadly Shot as well. And here, if he doesn't end up, if he doesn't end up trading, he's still in Unleash the Hound. So whatever he does.
But he decides to chip in to face damage a little bit, because he also needs to hurry up a little bit, because if you go too slowly, the hunter hero power will just ward you off and kill you eventually.
True.
It's
and
like
a Hydra, really nice pickup here. Yeah.
From the top.
I mean, he pretty much deals with the stuff on board. Coldblood can really help if he decides to trade into the Hydra, so he has some smaller minions to start the combo. We see kind of Hunter's tempo wearing off as well. This Hydra, I would say it was kind of the last push that Hunter had, except for that he also has the crab that I think we'll see played on the captain next turn.
Yeah, that's true, and that's a huge pickup from the board. And also nice use of Shadow Step to clear the board, get rid of all the beasts, because as Rogue has synergies with other minions, the Hunter has synergies with beasts. Although we already saw one Houndmaster being played, there can be another. And also the cards that gives other beasts charge, like Thunder Rhino stuff.
Also, so far, he doesn't deal with the Thunder Rhino if it gets played. Both that and the crab is actually a board clear here, since the crab now has the charge and there is no minion that Kobold's Killbane can give damage to. So this is getting really close to the
and
GG.
He plays Swashbucklers actually.
Yeah, he does. And he decided to go for a keep of that hallucination at the beginning. I don't know, maybe he was playing around the crab, like what if he has the crab on turn 2, I lose the tempo. But Vile Spin, it can actually do stuff here. Yeah.
Destroying the one base, clearing another, still leaves you hope for like fast damage push like Leroy or something like that, but we see that he has Unleash the Hounds and he can evolve them.
We're yet to see that. Rogues have some ways to deal with it, and we still don't really know if he plays the Fan of Knives or not. But we see also the Living Spores that might actually be what he goes for, since what he really wants to do here is just stop as many possibilities as he can for potential Bone Mare or something like that. So far we're seeing Rogue kind of clinging on to its last hopes and its last minions. A Prince being a bit too late.
Yeah. And we'll see the trade here.
Yeah, but there is hope. I mean, here we don't see a +3 attack landing on the 3/1, which would be really bad because it gets traded with the little bean. But so far, I don't know. I don't think it's actually even worth playing around the kill command. I think he might just end up going face here.
Yep, definitely.
Because even if he plays, he has to invest both minions to be out of the kill command. If he doesn't have a beast, then he still dies because he's on 5 health.
Yeah. but he goes for
He
trade.
goes for it. Yeah, he goes for it. He's really playing it safe and prolonging the game for one more turn, but still kind of remaining safe here, which is something I can understand because he's still gonna get one more buff on the prince. So it's a lot of damage, and with another minion to combine or a spell to combine and Cold Blood, he actually has a lethal setup there, which was a really nice
if
safe
he gets
play.
card, he can play, and he can play almost all the cards he can get.
Yeah, pretty well. I don't think there's. Yeah, I think the most expensive card is the Bone Mare, and this is a GG for
This
real.
is really
wow,
well played.
really
Straight to
well
the
played.
edge. But the win goes to Osk. We see everything being played.
Yep. And it's a GG for Osk.
Congratulations to Osk. Also congratulations to Asterix on really well played game.
Both players played it really well. So far, this is gonna be it for the semifinals. Stay tuned for the finals because
don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Very
See you
soon
guys.
we will be back with our finalists and with some more good Hearthstone. And see you later.
welcome back
Hi guys.
to
Welcome back.
our first finals of the autumn qualifiers for the final
League. Yeah, by the way, the finalists that you can see here are now our first qualified finalists for the top 16 by the end of November, and you can see all the tournaments being listed on the ESL Adria website, where you can see the link with all the schedules for the next tournaments. And here we see the first match. Down we see Pera, our second finalist that you are now meeting, and you see Oz on the top. Oz with his Quest Warrior and Pera with his Mage. So, about the lineups. Pera with his Paladin, Mage, Priest, and his Druid that got banned, and Oz with his Warrior, Shaman, Priest, and his Rogue that got banned.
The important thing to note is that the finals are played in best of 5 format, conquest format, with one ban. That means that every player has to score at least 3 victories to win the whole thing. And also when someone wins with some class, he cannot play that class to the end of the tournament.
Yeah. So now we see Oz's Quest Warrior, and here we see the secret Temple Mage, I suppose.
That's true.
With the addition of secrets like Mirror Entity, and I'm pretty sure he runs like Counterspell and maybe even Mana Bind. Sometimes that even gets played.
Interesting pickups here.
Yeah, very interesting.
Flame Gazer, really nice to get the early tempo. As Ice Barrier can be used to like soak up some damage.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go for the Gazer. I mean, I would go for the Gazer since a Quest Warrior doesn't have a lot of minions, and sometimes you just need that little bit of extra damage to remove a threat to be able to basically go first.
Maybe he realized it's a Quest Warrior, and if he runs Medivh, he might want to take the biggest spell possible to combine it with Medivh, and also get a little bit of extra steam in the late game. But that's like planning way ahead. He goes with the Flame Gazer.
It's a very difficult choice, I would say. Like all of them kind of seem good, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's gonna go for that little bit of tempo, just enough so he can maybe push over some taunts and just deal with the board. And a solid Mirror Entity, I would say. A
Solid,
Mage,
but also good for Oz,
Yeah.
because he gave only one minion without Battle Cry.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the best thing that he could give him.
Yeah, he could have given him like the Ali Armorsmith or some bigger minion if he was to wait and not proc the Mirror Entity. So I think so far so good. And I'm pretty sure he's gonna go for like removing the taunts and just chipping in that face damage while he's able to, while there is no like bigger taunts in hand. We see also the Dirty Rat in Oz's hand, which is really interesting. Could be really bad if he plays it and doesn't have an answer to that Bone Mare in hand. But I'm pretty sure he's gonna have a lot of things that he is yet to play before that. I mean, so far so good. We see both decks and both players kind of having a good curve, and also we see Ghoul that is really nice with Sleep with the Fishes. Unless it gets counterspelled, I think it's a really nice board pair, especially for a Temple Mage that so far we don't see any. Well, we see Bone Mares, but I would say like so far all the minions that we saw aren't as big threats.
The counter spell is really important pickup here to get, because that's the way to protect your board for turn or two longer from that Ghoul Sleep with the Fishes or from that Brawl, and we see some of those threats already present in Oz's hands. He still doesn't have Sleep with the Fishes, but
I think he's just waiting for it.
yeah, but the Brawl is already there, and counterspell pick here and surely to be played.
Yeah. And
Wow.
this is that little bit of chip damage that I was talking about. Sometimes you just want those minions that are on the board to be able to push face, and that's what he's going for. And I think it's it's a good play. Also, a huge thing. His Firelands portals cost 6, so that means he doesn't actually have, well, at least not yet, he doesn't have the 4/7 cost cards in hand. Just stuck there, he's gonna be able to play one of the Firelands portal next turn if his Sorcerer's Apprentice doesn't get removed.
Yeah.
So it is a really big thing.
The only way I see it getting removed is if Osk tries to brawl this, but then we have a counter spell, so this Sorcerer's Apprentice is holding on for the board for at least one more turn.
Yeah, she's
for
sticking
sure.
there, yeah. And I'm pretty sure Osk is considering whether it could be counterspell or not, so he doesn't really want to lose a lot of tempo by playing Brawl into counterspell and basically playing nothing next turn. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna see that Firelands into
Just
that
debating
Armor
whether he
Smith.
wants to hit Armor Smith or he might wants to push face because he's not threatened by board clears because the counter spell still stands on.
No, but it can generate armor with Ghoul and some additional minions. I think he's gonna go for playing it safely and just going for Firelands into Armor Smith because he needs. Hey, interesting choice.
Here.
He really values that damage, but at the same time, by getting 2 armor, I guess it kind of.
Yeah, 1
This
damage
is it,
less,
yeah.
2 damaged minions, and
He feels pretty safe because he knows that he can't just play like full Sleep with the Fishes, but he's not playing around 2 copies of Sleep with the Fishes, and I don't know if I completely agree with this turn. I mean, obviously
maybe he wants him like, okay, play Ghoul, and then you can't do much about.
Ouch! That counter spell is gonna hurt if
Yeah.
he decides to brawl.
And that's kind of how it goes. Like you play Dirty Red, and then you try to brawl.
And it just doesn't really work out. Maybe he even goes like, yeah, for Ghoul
This
or
removes 2
for
minions, that's true.
removes 2 minions, yes, and I'm pretty sure with that weapon, like maybe he was debating whether he should play like weapon or the Ghoul. I think this was a good choice, considering the fact that he probably knows there's a counter spell being
Counter
played.
spell still being on. The brawl is the only spell that Osk has in hand, and we see the real struggle. He knows that is the counter spell, but he cannot do anything about it. He needs to win the board by minions, by fight without using any of magic, while Mage is allowed to unleash his full arsenal.
that
And
is
he gets Leroy
huge.
out
That
of
is
the
huge.
portal, and I
that is
guess
a
this is a
GG and
GG.
exact lethal.
Wow, what a game on this
What a
first
game.
set.
Yeah, okay, so that's gonna be 1-0 for Pera, and that's gonna be a win for his Temple Mage, and we are yet to see his Paladin and his Priests versus his Priest versus his Warrior, Shaman, or his Priest. Both decks, I mean, they're pretty different. We still don't know if he's playing the Murloc version or maybe the Control Paladin version. If he's playing the Murloc version, then he kind of has 2 different decks. He has a really kind of aggressive Murloc, and then I would assume a Highlander Priest, but maybe he just goes for the Control Paladin as well. And I'm assuming this is gonna be the Highlander that we usually see played in meta, and we're gonna see the Quest Warrior from Oz. Quest Warrior actually has a really good matchup there.
Yeah,
If,
it can
yeah.
win, it can snowball with those fireballs, and Priest kinda wants a longer games,
Yeah.
but when you got hit by 8 damage fireball each turn, it's hard to prolong the game, and this is a sign that we in fact seeing the Highlander Priest because Kazakus is picked up.
Yeah. Also with the Quest Warrior, I'm assuming he's just gonna go for as many taunts as possible because that hero power is the one thing Priest cannot control. So it's gonna be really important for Osk to play as many minions as possible, as many taunts as possible to get that 8 damage as soon as he can. Also, we see Shadow Visions from Pera. I mean, it's something that he could play this turn, but at the same time, I'm not really sure sure he wants to, because that card is usually, well, in control matchups, it usually is used to find an answer to something happening right about now. So I'm assuming he's just gonna chill and just play his Acolyte and just wait for something to happen. I mean, we see Osk here having an okay curve. I mean, he has that Acolyte as well, and he has that Stonehill going on. I'm pretty sure he's gonna want to draw as many things as possible. Also, with his weapon, he's gonna be able to draw and efficiently get rid of his Acolyte. So maybe even going for like Shadow Arcane out of Shadow Visions. Also, Kazakus is a strong tempo. He doesn't quite know what he's looking for, but in a control matchup, I'm pretty sure he's gonna go for either a 10 or even a 5 to play next turn. He's going for a 5, which is really nice, and he might even consider drawing cards. I mean, all of the options are quite good, and depending on the situation, like the way it kind of happens next turn, we're gonna be able to see if he picked right. So he picked the deal 5 damage and polymorph a random enemy minion. So he's pretty much going through that, okay, you're gonna play a big taunt and I'm just gonna polymorph it and kill another one, or just kind of push damage to face. A 5 costs are really, actually really good when you're playing Anduin, because rather than like playing a 10 cost where you can only hero power twice, like once before and once after that, if you had Raza before that, you actually are able to play a lot more cards and deal a lot more damage. So that's kind of what priests are, well, pretty much going for. And I would say this silence hurt Osk a little bit, because last time he was able to play the Stonehill as well, but he decided to just go for card draw rather than kind of hurrying up on his quest progress. But I don't know, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some board clearance here. I mean, he wants to stop the priest from being able to draw the cards, and also he attacks into the Acolyte, so he actually stops the priest from actually healing. Raza is a huge pickup in this matchup.
Especially paired with Shadow Reaper and Anduin. He has all the tools to push this matchup into higher gear and close it up before Warrior managed to finish his quest and start raining fire from above.
Yeah, definitely, and he still hasn't quite started on his quest, which is sometimes can be a bit too late when you're playing versus that priest. Sometimes you will just get Velen, you will just get Raza, you will just get everything on the board that you have to deal with, and there is no that Ragnar's hero power that you really need. So I'm guessing like in the next few turns his hand is kind of growing short on some removal spells. I'm guessing at some point he's gonna be forced to play those taunts, right? I mean, with Stonehill he can even discover something really cheap and just go for a taunt that efficiently just leads him towards his quest progress. We see Lyra in hand also for Pera, and a lot of cheap spells.
And I guess he's debating like how he can turn this Acolyte of Pain against him, because we see a Potion of Madness being picked, and with that he can take the control of this minion and hit something of Osk, taunts and or other minions, and that way denies him a card draw and at the same time drawing a card for himself, which is quite a huge swing.
Yeah, but what you
also you can directly deny him the card draw.
You need to be careful not to overdraw when you're drawing cards from the Acolyte and from Lyra. It can actually turn into you having 10. Well, so far, except for Lyra, we don't see any minions in hand, so that means if he plays Lyra and if he fills his hand with spells, each spell produces you another one, and then you just end up burning your cards, and you don't want to burn your Velen.
You might wonder, does this minion pushes the quest progress for 2 or for 1? It pushes only for 1.
Yeah.
You can see it now, because you need to summon taunts, to play taunts, not to summon them, sorry, my bad.
It looks kind of tricky. Like when you see it, you're kind of wondering, like, whether is this or is that. I would say it's well. I mean, I know each quest has its own mechanics, but I would say it's a bit unfair since the Murloc Shaman quest actually only requires you to summon Murlocs.
That's true.
Yeah, it requires you to summon more, but also it's a summon,
Yeah,
so it's kind of
you can
easier.
get them way easier, like call in the finishers or pushes your quest progress by 4, which is really fast. And some other cards that calls out Murlocs from your deck, like Finja and I don't know if there are any more cards that call out Murlocs. There
so.
are like Wild and stuff like that, but they are called to hand. But all in all, let's get back to our match here.
And to the current meta where we can't really see the Murloc Shamans. Here we see Oz actually working towards kind of getting that quest. He's 2 out of 7, but his hand is full of taunts. So in the next few turns, he's gonna be able to get to that quest progress. I wouldn't really spend that spell yet.
And for like
he's
it
even
should
considering
be,
hand
like,
or
going and everything is ready. Your hand is full, your healths are full. You played Raza. You're not removing anything with his battle cry, but you're getting ping. It is really valuable.
And he's going for the face damage.
That is true because I guess he can gun down all of his taunts with a small amount of damage with
Also Shadow Word.
Shadow Word Power. Exactly,
Yeah.
my thoughts. Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, why would he even go face? And then I see that card on the left
As we
side.
see, he
of
checks out the progress of a quest. He's also concerned by it, and he needs to take a good care of what was happening actually
Yeah.
to be able to finish the game before the quest happens, or
Yeah.
at least put him down to a reasonable amount where he doesn't want to go quest because he needs armor.
It's a very kind of high skilled matchup, I would say. There are many ways you can play it. Also with Lyra, he should be careful not to miss out on his pings before he plays his cards. But what is really important is that there's so many ways you can play this matchup. With Lyra, with all the additional spells you have, sometimes you will just end up losing the game because you're spending your resources and you're kind of thinking, yeah, I will just have more of them, and the games can really turn around. But so far we see both players performing really well, and I would say this is going to be a really tough series since both of them are really
And I
playing
hope
well.
for like game 5 of this tournament. And in general, I always go for as much Hearthstone as we can see because it's a good Hearthstone and we enjoy it. Hope
I agree.
You do too.
I agree. And I think everything is getting just about ready for that Lyra.
Yeah.
She's just kind of hanging out there. But also we have to mention that Oz also runs Drahirad in his
That could be a
deck.
potential threat
Yes,
because
because
Lyra now is the only minion in hand.
yeah, he doesn't have it in hand, but also he could go for another stone mill. He could go for like drawing cards into Dirty Rat. He doesn't quite have a way to deal with it, but there's the brawl, and there's that Dirty Rat that we talked about, and it can be really dangerous if that Dirty Rat pulls out that Lyra and the brawl happens. So maybe
true,
he wants
but-
to. I wouldn't exactly go for that brawl because you basically destroy your 2 minions potentially and leave up Lyra on the board. And yeah,
See, he's playing Alice Smith, and now we most likely will see Shadowword Horror being played. He kept that card when he could have destroyed 2 minions on board, and now his efforts are kind of paid off.
he might even consider playing Lyra now.
That is true, and he is going for Lyra.
He's doing it, and he's successfully. Well, his hand is not full, so that means that even if he draws a card, he's not gonna overdraw. But he might not even.
Silence, nice pick up,
Yeah,
but
it is
no
a-
targets to be casted on.
Power Shield's still a good one for Lyra.
And he kind of got a lot of resources.
Yeah, and he still
9
hasn't
cards in
overdrawn,
hand, yeah.
so that's good because he was able to play Lyra on like 7 or 8 cards, so he's not actually losing resources, and now we might even see some search for execute or even some brawl being played. I'm assuming he's gonna go for a slam. Even brawl is an option
now. He needs to deal with this Lyra, and he knows
He
it.
does. I mean, there's a 30% chance it turns out to be disastrous for him. But, you know, Crab is a good outcome. It's not his minion, but still, he's working on his quest progress, and there's only that one minion that survived. And for Lyra value, what?
And he decides to go for armor here instead of card draw. That way, it gives them more durability and a better fatigue battle. As we can see, the Ozg is currently holding on 13 cards in his deck, and Vera has only 11.
Yeah.
We are still unsure if he runs Alex. That can be like 1 extra card and 5 extra once you play the pact.
Yeah, we have not seen Alice today. That's something to mention, actually.
Yeah.
But there you're at in this matchup can be really good. It really counters well all those mages and especially those priests with Lyras, with their valets, especially when you have an execute in hand and you just can't wait to get rid of some of the threats. This deck actually suffers a lot versus the Quest Mage, so I'm assuming the tech has something to do with that as well. Quest Mage has become really popular in the tournament meta, so I would say that definitely we see some teching going on. And Primordial Grave is actually really good here because priests can have a hard time dealing with it. He can silence it, but there is no interactions between priests and the dragons that belong to your enemy.
Yeah, and it has 4 attack.
Yeah, definitely. It is quite hard to deal with it.
Draw a pin-size potion and kill it with Shadow Word.
There's
And
a
he can also
polymorph.
polymorph.
Yeah, and deal a significant amount of face damage and overheal in the process. So this is turning into that real kind of machine gun priest that everybody's talking about. It is really strong and there's a lot of cards in hand and he's getting really close to lethal. Yeah, 2 and 3. I'm pretty sure if he does it right, he's gonna get there. He's getting there.
Yeah, he
Definitely,
does.
yeah. It's gonna be a GG for Pero this game. This has been a really good series so far.
The rope is burning. Can he do it in time? And he's 1 damage off.
Late.
But I guess no, he's not. Sorry, my bad.
If the rope actually
the rope
doesn't
allows.
burn, yeah. If the rope allows it, that's lethal,
That's
and it's a
lethal.
GG
It's
for
GG.
the
Congratulations.
machine gun priest.
Congrats to Pera on
Congrats.
his 2-0 lead.
And what's left to do is to get that win with his paladin, or we're gonna see some turning the tables from Oz
Yeah,
with
can we
his.
see the reverse sweep from the Ozg? I would love to see that.
I would love to
means
see some more games.
We are
Yeah,
in
definitely.
for at least 3 more games of Hearthstone.
Yeah, let's play with all the classes. So now, warrior, shaman, or priest. Versus a paladin, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a warrior again. It's actually his best bet to win here.
Yeah, that's true.
He's-
And
yeah.
Paladin is still a strong deck, but I feel it struggles a little bit versus all these meta decks at the moment. It's like the weakest of all the strong decks that we can find, so he might find a problem finding the last win with the Paladin. But we see Oz playing his Quest Warrior, not Pirate Warrior, which can be really interesting. The matchup is not polarized in any way, it can go both ways. So let's see what will happen.
I would say that the Quest Warrior can actually be really good versus this Paladin because the Quest Warrior is built so it counters all the control decks. It's a really good anti-control deck because they can't control your hero power and they don't have a lot of minions you can put that damage into. So from a really kind of control-ish deck with the taunts, it turns into something so aggressive with that 8 damage per turn that you sometimes are not able to
We
control
see
that
struggle
much.
from the second turn already.
Yeah. I mean, Getaway Coda is something you kind of want.
Yeah, he
versus-
goes for value. You want as much deviance as you can.
Yeah, and we don't know if he's playing the N'Zoth, but it would make sense. If he's playing the control version of Paladin, he might just want to get that Tyrion back. And Stonehill has become one of the strongest cards in a Paladin in a Paladin deck, since Paladin has so many good taunts. Paladin taunts are legendaries.
That is true.
Yeah.
And we see him picking up Infested Tauren, which is not the best outcome, but
There might be the Zoth coming
there
up.
might be a Zod
So-
that synergized with it really well.
Yeah, so maybe he's just kind of building it up to it.
Also, putting up a Death Rattle before the Brawl turn makes that removal less effective against your board. And he recognized the circumstances. He's playing this proactively. He doesn't tend to control the board by like removing your opponent's minions. He controls it by having his own minions.
Yeah.
And that is something that you need to do in a matchup where you are in a long-term unfavored.
Yeah. You
Because
really want to.
paladins can have those really mid-range, strong mid-range turns with Tarim and Tyrians, and I say Tyrians because you can have multiple of them, and also ones that Ashbringer starts chopping damage. That can put warrior really low on health and armor.
It's quite interesting when you say multiple Tyrians. Paladins, oh!
That's a completely different thing. We misjudged you.
Definitely. Wow. Okay, so from the suspected N'Zoth Paladin, I guess we're moving on to the combo Paladin with Auction Master Beardo and really cheap spells that make a lot of apocalypse guys that come and crush your hero if you don't take care of them.
So the way this guy wins is by playing his Death Knight Paladin, and then starts playing Hero Power, then plays Spell, and then again plays Hero Power, and do that 4 times. And once you collect all the forcements, the apocalypse can begin, and you can win the game.
And kaboom! They're gone. That's pretty much how it works.
All of a sudden, I feel like the long-term game
It's pretty favored for the
The
Paladin.
Paladin,
Yeah,
yeah.
now it's starting to turn around from my perspective as well. I remember the first time I played versus that type of Paladin, I was in ranked and I was like, nah, it's not gonna happen. No, I'm not gonna die if he plays all 4 of them. I actually at first thought it was kind of unfair. I mean, it looks unfair, but at the same time, it's a really hard combo to pull off.
achieve. Also, he needs the Burgle Bully to get points, and then he can snowball.
Yeah, definitely. What we see here is actually Osk kind of trying to go for that tempo game and just kind of collecting his taunts, but that 4/7 Death Rattle taunt is really it's really kind of making it hard for him. We see a lack of we see an execute in hand, but we see a lack of time to actually play that execute. And now we actually see why that Paladin is kind of holding on to that secret. He really wants to keep it, so he's able to play it with the Auction Master.
This game is so fun. I can't wait to see the way it will unravel and finish at the end.
It looks really interesting so far, and Tyrion is here to just kind of generate one more threat that Warrior has to deal with. But in the end, if he manages to pull it off, it's gonna be a GG for Paladin no matter what. So he needs to play as many taunts as he can as soon as possible and start making those fireballs that we're yet to see today, I think.
Yeah.
I think so far the matchups have been really not in favor for the Quest Warrior. There was just no time to play that Ragnar's hero power.
That is true. He either win matchups without using a quest, or he was too late to utilize the power of that hero power. And we'll see if that is the fact now.
Yeah.
Don't forget that he's running Dirty Rats, so they can pull out the Auction Master Beardo, and that way he can ruin his combo plan.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like he plays around that Dirty Rat really proactively. He has the Doomsayer and Acolyte in hand. Acolyte could be a potential card draw, but he's like refusing to play it, and I think it's a really good thing. And here we see a lack of Dirty Rat that would definitely get played with that Brawl. So I'm pretty sure he's going to go for the Lich King rather than just playing a Brawl. Because if he plays the Brawl and if Tyrion dies, that's 15 damage going to his face.
That is a thing, and he picks up a Forbidden Healing here. Not the most useful card yet, but he can utilize it to finish the quest. If he gets 2 coins, he can like play it as a free. When he spends all his mana, he can play it and then coin out. Double coin of the hero power if needed.
Double coin?
Mm-hmm. If he gets a coin from Burgle Bully.
Oh yeah, it actually. Well, yeah. If he gets a coin, yeah. I totally forgot about that Burgle Bully there. I was like, yeah, there's quite enough spells there already. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a copy of Forbidden Healing just to kind of help out survive versus those aggressive decks.
That is true, and this is not one of them.
Yeah.
And as we see, Oz currently, I wouldn't say struggling for survival, but he's forced to react to this board, to spend his resources. And that's kind of what Paladin wants from you.
Yeah, I think so. And what's really important here, he has so many tools to actually remove things. So even if he's not going for that Auction Master Beardo, he still has that DK Paladin with that hero power and with the lifesteal weapon. He still has equality and consecrations, still able to deal with those hunter, those rogues. So it's a really strong deck that has win conditions apart from the Auction Master Beardo combo that they're going for.
That's true, and we might even see Equality Consecrate again here just for that push of damage, and then he can follow it by Getaway Kodo.
I'm pretty sure he's not gonna spend it that easily. That's kind of one of his win conditions. I don't know. I think he's gonna go for that Acolyte because he's running out of things to actually play to get him towards that DK that he really wants. Also, we haven't been seeing many of those Burgle Bullies, so he may be just having an idea of like just spending resources to get to those cards.
It is true, and this way with this Consecrate he denies him an armor gain by the fight with Tyrion, and
there's
also
that Ashbringer.
He gets the chop with an Ashbringer,
which is really strong.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've seen a weapon removal from Oz yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. We're seeing him not being that lucky with picking up the taunts, but still there's a Primordial Drake that can get played that can gain him armor. And it deals with the board.
Paladin prepared his board for this Drake by playing the Acolyte and get that one more card draw.
Yeah. It is I mean, it was a really good play last turn, and I mean, this way, I'm not really sure about Wild Pyra. Maybe he just wants to kind of save it for equality and draw cards first. I'm not very sure he's gonna go for the equality just now, but maybe he just wants to kind of push for that damage. this way he draws a card and he deals 5 damage.
Yeah,
so it's still a really good
The
play.
important thing to mention is that both of the players are qualified for the final tournament because they are first and second no matter what happened. So congrats to both of them
Yeah,
this
so,
way,
yeah.
and they will see each other on the field of battle in 8 weeks from now.
Yeah, and you guys are going to be able to see them again, and I'm really wondering if the meta is going to stay kind of the same the way it is now, or there's going to be some new stuff, new creative decks, new
I
players.
guess we can expect some changes at
Yeah.
least in the last few rounds of league.
I think so. And here we can see that Warrior really kind of struggling versus that Ashbringer charge. It dealt so much damage, and now if he goes for the quest, he's gonna remain at 12 health.
Oh,
Wow,
the
this is
Dirty Rat
huge.
pickup.
The Dirty Rat is huge because if it gets played, if it pulls the Auction Master, and it pulls the Auction Master, wow. I guess until this moment, this is amazing. This can turn this game around because except for the Auction Master Beardo, he probably has the Light Lord. He
That
might
is
have
true, and Tarim is still a danger
Yeah.
to the warrior. He needs to play around it, even if he doesn't, even if Pera doesn't have it in hand, because he doesn't know that, and that is something that can really kill you if you're on low health.
I think now Oz can kind of think about the rest of the cards that he has in deck, and can count in those Burgle Bullies, maybe some additional spells like Forbidden Healing that will just help out
And
with
we
the
see
quest
Tarim that we
progress.
spoke about.
Tarim is a great pickup, but I wouldn't say just yet, because that 3/7 minion is quite powerful on its own.
He goes for it, and for weapon he wants to finish this, to push this till the end. Will Osk be able to defend for a few more turns?
Yeah, now he realizes that his main win condition is pretty much gone regarding the Auction
Yeah.
Master Beardo, and he's
his
really pushing
surprise
it.
is revealed. He needs to play. If he loses, he needs to play this deck again and again. And if you know, up against you, what are you up against? You can prepare way more easily to actually deal with it.
True. I mean, this way his surprise is kind of spoiled, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough odds because they're clinging at those 6 health, and Getaway Kodo is not gonna help if Tarim gets back to the hand. There are some really good tools to kind of deal with it, but I think he's not gonna go for that quest just yet. He needs to hero power.
That is true. That is true. Every armor point is precious now, and we see a huge pickup now.
He needs to hero power like twice a turn if he's gonna beat this. If he hits, does he get another hit? He doesn't, right?
No.
Which DK does that, or which hero power does that?
None,
I
but
can't
like
remember.
when you're frozen with Garrosh and you play
Oh,
the Scourge
right,
Lord, you're
yeah,
no longer frozen.
Yeah. When they freeze your face and you wait, but that pretty much is the same thing for the
We'll
paladin.
see
as
now.
well.
And yeah, he is not able to attack.
So, yeah, I know, but I was saying, as in, like, if he was to get frozen by playing Uther, he will get unfrozen, right?
That is true.
That's one of the things that we did for science a while ago. But yeah, really, I'm really wondering if this paladin can get a win here. Warrior is still not to be underestimated. He's at 8 health, but sometimes that control warrior can just stabilize so easily from that point on. And now he's gonna see that there aren't any minions in hand, and that Dirty Rat is gonna come in real handy. Another Tarim is not something he really wants to give to him. He's really thinking about that Getaway Kodo and thinking whether he should go for it or not. Those
I guess
are
the Tar Lord
really
here is the wall that he cannot jump at this moment. If he managed to play that, the game is pretty much over. We saw him spend...
Oh, the Saronite again! Wow, he's been the MVP of these games.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually starting to really like that minion. I mean, he's so useful here. And again, the only minion happening is the Tarim. And if he Tarims this board, he's not in a very good spot because he actually buffs all the minions that already exist.
And that is a switch that prevents Osk from playing his big taunts or big taunt that he just picked up from Stonehill Defender.
Yeah. And he knows there might just be just that one minion in his hand. He has 2 Forbidden Healings, which is really anti-aggressive and really deals by aggro. But not in this matchup, because Warrior doesn't really do much until he plays the quest. So I'm assuming until we see Ozg stabilizing and playing that quest, we're not going to see that Forbidden Healing either. And so far his hand is just dead.
That is true, I agree completely.
I'm wondering how he pulls it off.
The end draws near.
Yeah.
And
this is a tough situation. But here he also needs to be very careful. I mean, the quest warrior has to... Wow, he goes for it. He doesn't...
Nope.
No, but I think he's giving the information that his right card is the spell.
Yeah.
So that might be a thing that Oz could see and interpret as a spell. So no more big threats. Just one, you know? And this way he kind of tempts him into playing that Tarim. But if he plays a bunch of minions, that pretty much, yeah, he's trading so well. Because now if he plays the Tarim, he only has 2 3/3s on the board. They don't really do much here, do they?
He can find one pyro. And there is. There is a pyro.
There is a pyro, but does he make use of it? There's still gonna be that Tar Lord on that Tar Lord on the board, and he's gonna do a part of his job, and I'm pretty sure at some point, well, I'm not sure, but I can see Warrior stabilizing from this point on. But if he plays that, there is no Tarim this turn.
Unless he doesn't play any Enzots or something like that, he will probably run out of steam.
Yeah, because so far, yeah, Paladin was kind of able to get back on the board, but with really good trades, with ghouls in hand, also with Acolyte, with all the tools, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be able to armor up and just go on from there. Because what his goal is to build up as many minions as he possibly can, so Tarim is no longer a viable option. And so far, now he knows this is the only minion in hand, because when he played the Dirty Rat, it didn't pull out anything with the first Forbidden Healing.
He's not afraid anymore. He doesn't fear anything from his deck. The snowball can begin. And
this is the first time today that we're seeing that quest, and maybe this game is just turning around.
Yeah, the turning point.
Oh, wow.
And the Stonehill played right from the top.
And it's still there.
It will be for some time.
Yeah. I guess here the Crazed Worshipper could have been...
Maybe he wants value from this minion.
Yeah, maybe, but I forgot this minion just got to the board. He was just right there on the right side. I was like, no, he doesn't get any value. Stonehill is just there on the right side. But actually, he does get value, and he's really trying to make that Tarim work. I kind of disagree with his playing, with him like playing the Forbidden Healing that he top decked rather than the other one, because this way Oz could still be wondering if that's a minion or not.
Yeah, that is true. And in case he gets Dirty Rat, no, both Dirty Rats are gone in this game.
Yeah, I'm not sure about 2 of the Stonehill defenders.
Yeah.
There might be another one, but wow, that is a big turnaround. So this is gonna be
2-1.
Yeah, the first win for Ozg in these finals. So 2-1 for Opera. Ozg turning these games around, and we're yet to see his shaman and his priest versus this paladin. Now Ozg knows that there is an Auction Master Beardo, so he's gonna try to rush it with all of his decks and just go off before the DK happens and before that auction master happens.
That is true. We'll see. Ozg left with Shaman and Priest. Shaman and Priest, and Pera needs to find that win with Paladin. Also, we are waiting for them to pick the deck. I guess Ozg is debating what he should play this this round, and we see Paladin versus Priest. The Priest, probably the Highlander version of Priest with Raza and Razakus Priest, or Raza Kazakas and Shadow Reaper Anduin, and the hero power that pings for 2 and refreshes whenever you play a card. Also, we see Must Dispel, nice deck versus Aggro Druid, I would say, and a way to cycle a bit more in that early game. For Pera, we see that Uther the Evil Blade is already in hand, and this matchup can begin. It can all again go both sides, but it won't be easy. No matter the side it goes.
What's really interesting for me is that we see the Curious Glimmerwood in Ozg, which would be another source of information at first, and second, if he actually gets some of the combo pieces, he might just be able to turn that game around as well.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, so far, I'm guessing this game is gonna go, well, it's gonna be really slow in a way that both decks are combo decks in a way, and they're both gonna try to draw as many cards as possible and just get really close to that final stage where they're both in their DK forms, where Priest is firing off those hero powers, and where Paladin is just working towards getting those Apocalypse guys. And here he has a choice between Vilefin, Rallying Blade, and Consecration, and he's already seen the Consecration in deck. He knows that the Paladin doesn't run Rallying Blade, so he's going for the Consecration, which is yet another spell that he can use both for Lyra and for controlling the board, which is really good and really useful. Elder Peacekeeper on a Glimmerwood is a solid pickup, since now he's not able to trade efficiently into the Elder, but he does not know that Ozg has picked up the Consecration. Also, there is that Shadow Word Horror that basically just that Elder just made it a little bit worse, so he's still going for that Consecration, which is a good tempo gain. And I'm pretty sure he's gonna go for the, well, I was thinking like maybe he would go for the value trading, as in like trading so both minions survive, but this is good as well. And we see the Auction Master Beardo picked up, so this time we see a lot of parts of the combo already being here, and what's kind of being what Pera is kind of waiting for is he's waiting for those Burgle Bullies, if he runs them, and I'm assuming he does, simply because those are the minions, the very basic minions that he will just want to get to be able to get those coins. And on the other side, with Ozg, we see also Velen ready, so both players having really, really solid draws. And that can really make the game last, and it can really, it can make the situation just turn basically both ways, I would say. I mean, here we don't see like many good options. Sometimes, I guess, when you play a control paladin, you kind of want to go for that hydrologist and play secret, but here secrets are something as one-cost spells that Paladin really wants to hold on to because of that Auction Master Beardo. And we still don't know whether Priest is running something like Dirty Rats, but I would say in a combo deck like that, so-called Machine Gun Priest, he's really kind of going for for the full combo pieces, not just teching, for example, running Dirty Rat or something like that. So far, we see a really balanced game. We see both players having minions, all having Raza, both of them kind of playing proactively, I would say. Like, none of them has, like, really bad draws, I would say. So, as I said, this game can really kind of turn around. And considering the fact that Paladin there has a lot of combo pieces in hand, he's not going to have many things to play until turn 9 when I'm assuming he plays Uther no matter what. And Kazakus being played is something that can help out in the late game turns when Ozg is not able to maybe deal with the Apocalypse tokens anymore. I'm pretty sure he's picking up the Polymorph Everyone spell and just going for the board presence. And now we're gonna see what he picked. So transform all minions into 1/1 sheep and summon an 8/8, which is a really good tempo game, and I'm assuming it's gonna really help out once he plays either the Tarim or when he goes for the Uther and just starts pressing that hero power. So
we still didn't saw any copies of Burgle Bully, which can really turn the tides around for Paladin, because that minion is so hard to deal with, and it is something that Priest has to spend multiple spells on to remove from board, and in that way he gives a Paladin multiple coins for every spell he spent. Yeah. And that draws Paladin closer to finishing his quest.
This is such a good combo. With pin size, he's able to just clear that board with the Shadow Word Horror. He made it true. So yeah, Pera made it so basically, wow, this is even better.
Yeah, he gets 1 minion for free.
And free trades.
And
wow, the game really is starting to kind of turn into Ozg's favor. A 5/9 is not even able to deal with the Tarim, and a 5/9 definitely falls into Shadow Reaper Anduin if we see him played on turn 8, if he draws it until turn 8. But still, if he doesn't, in case he loses the board, he still has that spell that says polymorph all minions.
That is true.
Yeah, so all the minions that he has might just be turned into sheep. Yeah, it is, especially for Paladin, because Paladin is one of the classes that just revolves around buffing the minions, making them stronger, making them invulnerable.
Playing on that death rattles and everything.
Yeah. I mean, what really wrecks Paladin is just, his death rattles, his good minions being transformed, because he can't buff them no longer, and he can't bring them back with N'Zoth. Now we know this is not a N'Zoth deck, but still, Polymorph is so good. It used to be good in the past expansions as well, when there was that Murloc Paladin being played with the spells that summon the Murlocs that we all remember.
That is true. And here we see trades from Oz. He decides to push through this board,
which is really good. There's the Elise that we talked about.
There is the Alice.
Yeah.
But in Ozg's deck, not in Hera's deck.
Yeah, definitely. And we really kind of expect that from a Priest. When he's stacking for the anti-control matchups, he really wants to go for a really long game, having a lot of cards, and here we see no hesitation from Pera. He wants that Death Knight played, and he wants to be pushing as much as possible towards the card draw. Yeah, he doesn't really have good trades. So here, even though for the combo, he doesn't really he doesn't have any usage of basically face tanking, since if he goes for the combo, the hero dies even if he has 100 health or armor or whatever he has. He still doesn't have good trades. Priests are masters at evading those good trades that opponents can have.
That is true. And we see here Shadow Word Horror, a consideration from Ozg.
Yeah, maybe. But I would say, I mean, Shadow Earth Horror is really good here because pushing that damage, even though the Paladin can get the lifesteal by hitting into that Alice, it still deals those 5 damage. It's still 5 damage regardless of the fact that it's 15 heal and 15 damage. I would say that that they really got inspired from that from that Tyrion's weapon there. I mean, it's still a 5x3, but still it's not the same, and it gives lifesteal. So lifesteal kind of really really left a mark on this expansion, I would say. Even the last one when they had the lifesteal effects, but not had no, I had no name for them.
For example,
the Wicker Flame,
Flame. He had the lifesteal effect, but it wasn't called lifesteal, and they reworked the card after launching the expansion.
Yeah, and people were like wondering, okay, well, if the card got reworked, why am I not getting my dust for it? I mean, it didn't really get changed. It just got adapted to the new play style, and this is the point of Hearthstone. Sometimes you will just have so many things evolving as we go. We've seen so many expansions, so many good cards, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna see more amazing things and just the game developing even further and becoming something that we all enjoy every day.
This is dangerous for Priest if he doesn't draw into Anduin fast. He's in a danger of spending all the cards that he has.
Yeah.
And Tyrion played straight from the top, of course, straight into Lyra. He doesn't want Priest generating any more value from this, and we might see a Kazakh's potion here.
Yeah, quite possibly. And there's also that one horseman of the apocalypse being on board, and he never knows when he's gonna go for that auction master Beardo combo. He
true.
Still doesn't have any any more spells, but like he doesn't have enough spells to play it. But I'm pretty sure, I mean, this is a really strong push for the board, and 8/8 and Paladin without the lifesteal. It can be dangerous.
Without the ways to deal with it, I would say.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like the best thing that Paladins could ever get is a minion like Raza, for example. Not to be played when you don't have any of the same copies, but something that makes your hero power cheaper. If we ever saw that in game, I think this deck would be pretty OP, because Paladin would be able to just make horsemen out of nowhere.
That is true.
Yeah. So, as some people are waiting for the Gadgets and rotation for all the Jades to rotate out, some people might be waiting for the Auction Master to rotate out as well. Because if it gets really OP, then I'm guessing people are gonna be rooting for it being gone. Wow, this is actually really good. He's able to steal the draw.
Double
from
draw, actually.
Yeah, double draw with the Spirit Lash. He has a board clear and a full board of nothing to just go face with that 8/8. So it's turning, I think it's really turning towards the Priest, because the Paladin really, really wanted that card draw. He has some combo pieces there, but if Priest really gets that Anduin soon, it's gonna be very close to GG. He's really digging for it. He's healing his minions. He's playing the loot hoarders. He's doing anything he can.
And we see the Burgle Bully finally, but a bit too late, I'm afraid, because the Burgle Bully usually works when your opponent cannot trade it from the hand.
Yeah, this 8/8 is just he's just straight gonna trade into it, and the Priest is never gonna get those the Paladin is never gonna get those coins from the Burgle Bully. So yeah, it's quite bad. And here, by playing Hero Power, he gave him the mechanism to draw the card from the Loot Hoarder, and here we see that Anduin coming up, and it's gonna be very close to GG.
He plays it, he kills his own 8/8.
He does.
Something to be considered. Maybe he wants to keep it for one more turn. I don't know. He decides to go with the minions.
Maybe he just goes for lethal, because he still has a lot of cheap cards that he can just use to lethal whenever he plays the Anduin. And wow, what a turnaround!
What a turnaround.
Yeah,
He ties up the series 2-2. Don't go anywhere. We are into the 5th match of this finals, making them a true everlasting finals.
Just like we expected. This is something that I like seeing in finals. Two players that really fought hard to get there.
Yeah, and they are equally matched.
Yeah, very equally matched. So as you can see, last time we had a sweep, but also we had some really good players. Here we have a really nice finals with 5 long games of Hearthstone, and what I really like seeing is the control-ish style of decks being present as well. There was a meta when there were just Murloc Paladins, Pirate Warriors, and possibly Jade Druids, just because they were OP. But it was you know, really fast-paced. And here we have these slow decks. We even have Paladins that work with combos. We have Braza Priests. We have all kinds of things to just make the games amazing. So now we see the last 2 remaining decks. We see the Evolved Shaman from Ozg, and we see the Combo Paladin from Pera. Is the Combo Paladin gonna get that win with the Auction Master Beardo, or is it just gonna fight the aggression of Ozg?
I don't think the Beardo is that of a win condition in this matchup. I mean, if you can survive initial push from Shaman and then the evolve at turn 6 or a bit later, you pretty much are winning the game without, because this Paladin can outlast it for sure.
Yeah.
And he has a hard clears like Equality, Wild Pyromancer already in hand, so we're up for a long game.
But do not forget those evolves that sometimes Paladins just cannot deal with.
Yeah, and the power of Paladin to refill the board again and again after clears. Shaman, sorry.
That is definitely something to consider. If Ozg with his evolved Paladin pushes this Paladin with his Shaman pushes this Paladin.
I started.
Yeah, you did. And if he gets pushed enough to actually play Equality, Consecration, and Pyromancer before those evolved turns, it's gonna be a GG. And I'm really wondering if he's gonna get tempted to play those coins, those secrets, because sometimes versus Shamans you just really need that tempo, you really need those minions to make awkward trades, to trade into those noble sacrifices, to get those combos. And I see here him thinking about even abandoning his win condition with the Auction Master Beardo. He's like, yeah, I'm not getting there anyway, so maybe he's just kind of going for the tempo game, which is completely understandable versus the Shaman.
That is true, and the best way to deal with Shaman board is just to trade it up if you can. If not, then help yourself with a little bit of spells, and just go through those first few turns, that early game and the mid game, and in late game you will get a hand of it, because the tempo from Shaman is just slowing down up there, and you can really catch up with him easily.
But he decided to keep the noble sacrifice, whether because he wants to go for his real win condition with Auction Master Beardo, or because it's just not worth it this turn. But here we see an almost board clear. Yeah, this priestess is actually pretty good. Like, if it doesn't get traded into, it has 2 attack, and at some point, I think we even saw it at some of the qualifiers, at some of Hearthstone bigger events, where some zoo players would have the priestess in their decks. So, quite a solid minion for Shaman, I would say.
As long as she has another minion on board to buff at the every turn, then it's alright. She buffs them at the end of the turn, so it prevents any good trades for your opponents.
But so far, we see him picking up the Stonehill Defender, and also playing the secret, which means that he's kind of there with like abandoning his win condition. Well, not abandoning his win condition, just going for the other one, I guess. But also Stonehill Defender being picked up again out of the Stonehill Defender, which can generate a lot of value.
Evolve here, not gonna do much. We
Yeah,
see
okay.
probably one of the best one drops in the game, and
It gives him a card, and it has a
two-drop that
potential
gives card.
to give him a really cheap card.
That is true.
Yeah, which can kind of compensate for that secret that he played. mean, here we see a 5/5 that is not gonna get dealt with unless he plays either Alder Peacekeeper or the Pyromancer into equality. So I'm wondering how long it's gonna take until Paladin is really pushed to play those defensive spells. But here we see a really awkward trade. Oh, Blizzard. Yeah, Blizzard can be really good in this matchup. It can really efficiently deal with
it can stall for 1 or 2 more turns, and sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, but the thing is, he reduced the amount of attack on this minion, but turn 6, and if he gets the Doppelgangster and plays Evolve, it's gonna turn into a different minion.
Yeah.
So that can be a potential problem. And he decides to go for the trade, and he picks it up!
Yeah, he picks it up, and I'm quite sure that we will see here trade, Doppelgangster, Evolve,
Yeah.
but we see that Pera already has an answer in hand prepared for that.
He does. But wow, Karen is a really nice pickup because he cannot deal with the taunt. He's not able to basically break that death rattle, and what's gonna happen is we're gonna see that probably gonna see that Pyro into equality, but there's still that Karen death rattle that just makes everything awkward. We might even see Blizzard, who knows? I mean, Blizzard temporarily deals with the board and allows him to kind of, you know, maybe at some point just it would actually be really interesting if he was to get like Thrall or something like that, but then he would lose that death rattle.
And this way he kind of fish for more value for that equality Pyro.
Yeah. I mean, this way he's not receiving any damage, and he's not able to deal with those minions on board, so whatever happens, I guess Pera is gonna be able to get that clear soon, and Equality Consecration might just even be better. I mean, it still doesn't deal with the board completely though, because if he plays Equality into Consecration, then basically his minions don't trade into the 4 or 5 that is a death roll. It's still quite awkward for him. He might just end up stalling for another turn. Maybe playing like like Spike Rage Steed or something like that. Stonehill even.
I don't think he wants to risk like Devolve and Bloodlust.
Yeah, maybe. Because Devolve and Bloodlust are ready. And I'm afraid if it happens that he plays Equality and Consecration, or just Pyro into equality, and Osk is just left without a board, Devolve, Bone Mare, and Bloodsail Cursor, they don't really do much in this game after the Shaman loses the board. But he's still going for it.
He decides to go for trades.
Yep.
And not play anything. He says, okay, I'm not afraid of your 2 minions, play something more and then I'll show you what I got.
Yeah, pretty much. And he might even be baiting out that Devolve.
That is true.
That might not just be something that he wants to deal with, so maybe he's just gonna push a little bit of damage to the face, but then his board can just get destroyed if he doesn't deal with it. But it's funny how Pera is still not able to deal with the death rattle. It really kind of stops his progress. I'm pretty sure he would just play that Pyro and Equality a long time ago. And funnily enough, the Devolve turns the minion into the Pyromancer, and of course he deals with it. He doesn't want that Equality being pulled off without another piece of combo.
Double Equality, double Pyromancer.
Yeah, but does he want to do that?
We'll see. That Karin proves to be a menace.
Yeah, and don't forget, Shaman still has that way to just go Hero Power and then Bone Mare after that. It is really strong. It can make you know, a really strong minion without even playing another minion.
Yep.
In this way, I'm pretty sure Abomination is quite good here, just because it really deals well with the Shaman minions. Even if he ends up playing a lot of hero powers, a lot of minions, Abomination would be really good. But Grimstreet, if he's going for actually having minions on the side to kind of, you know, protect, Grimstreet is just gonna do its work. But here also we see this paladin staying at somewhat low health, and he might even end up having some problems with dealing with the board. I mean, so far so good. He can always go for another stone hill, or even if he feels pushed enough, he can just go for the if he feels pushed, he can just go for like the consecrations, equalities, and all the other things. But so far, I don't think he feels that threatened. He's seen one devolve. He might get into the danger of dying if he doesn't clear the board, and if he gets another devolve and the bloodlust to, you know, efficiently kill his face. But I don't think he's gonna play around that at this point. Stonehill out of Stonehill is always good. It just gives you more options.
And he also gets taunt with Death Rattle.
Yeah.
That can be combined with the hero power or that Murloc.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, I think he's somewhat abandoning the win condition with the beard. Oh, he's already played the secrets that he got out of the Murlocs. So I'm guessing Redemption is just going to be used to bring back something very useful like Tyrion, like some of the taunts that protect his face. If he was able to pull off that devolve with the bloodlust, then this would be a GG. But board still not being cleared, and Shaman still being able to push that little bit of face damage.
He's actually 2 off with no, he has a lethal if he didn't play patches.
Yeah, this is a...
Oh, it's
this is a GG.
Yeah,
oh,
it's a lethal. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Even without patches.
Wow, it's a GG.
Congrats to Oz.
Congrats. Wow, that is a really nice lethal there.
Yeah.
Yeah, sap the casters. This was a lethal. All right, congratulations to Oz. Wow.
And don't go anywhere. We're just gonna say a few more things about the tournament and everything. So first of all, hello everyone.
From
I'm
your
Zeronix
casters
or Philip,
and
this
the
odd one or Ivona.
So first of all, thank you for joining in today and for sticking out through amazing series. This has been such a great semifinals and finals. All the players performing really well, and congratulations to our finals. Oz and Peta both qualifying for the big finale in November.
Of our Autumn League. You can check out on ESL site the schedule of all the tournaments. And you can basically participate in one tournament each week for the next now 7 weeks, because this was the first one. The first 2 places from each tournament will advance to that final tournament and take the 2 slots. At the end we will have 8 times 2, that means 16 players competing for that prize, and also premium accounts on ESL sites, which gives them opportunity to participate in more tournaments. And
which is also really cool, because you'll just get to play some more Hearthstone, and this has been a really good series today.
Yeah, and a great finals we had there.
Great finals, very convincing.
I couldn't hope for more.
Yeah,
honestly.
this was very good, and thank you all of you for tuning in. And also, we forgot to mention the participation to all the tournaments. It's completely free, and we really encourage you to apply for next week, to be here in the semifinals and the finals next week, to show to all the people what you got. We really hope a lot of you apply, and I hope we see you next week.
Once again, congratulations to both players who qualified for the finals, and special congratulations to Osk, who won the tournament today. That's all for today. See you guys in next week, and
same time.
In the meantime, bye.
Bye.